I'm going to talk a little bit about organizing products and resources and what types of things to use to represent them. Now, depending on the rules of your game, if you're not using default rules, this may or may not apply to you, but you probably will still get something from it as long as you use some type of piece to symbolize your resources or products or whatever you have defined for your game. But for the default, in my game that I run, I use the default rules. So we have letters, lowercase letters for resources and uppercase letters for products. So I just recently got this thing. Before I had all these things in a bag, and whenever someone needed one, I would basically pull it out. So that was not very efficient. So I finally went out and got one of these. And if you do get, this is just like a baseball card holder, but if you do get one of these, keep in mind that you probably will have to buy extra dividers. I think I had to buy like 2 extra sets to get all these. And this pretty much works out perfectly. So I got all the letters, or the first 13 letters, A through M, and then I just also put their opposites in there. And when you're a game master, you get used to what the opposites are. I mean, you can label them, but you'll pretty much have it memorized in a couple months or so. Now, that does leave a few extra spaces. And for this one, I use force cards, and then for these, I just have blanks. Now, if you use tokens or reward cards or any other kind of custom cards that you make, yeah, then you're going to have some room for that. I'll get to these blanks in a minute here, but I guess first thing, let's go over some of what I use now. The best thing to use is just regular sized cards, which I do not have yet, but I'm about to order. So if you want them pre-made, just let me know and I will hook you up with that. But for in the last year and a half or so, I've been experimenting with different things. And I started with these letters because I thought they would look pretty nice. And they do look nice, and the kids do like them. And they can handle them pretty well, except for the resources right here. They're still an uppercase, so it can be a little confusing, but I mean, it's pretty obvious with the size difference that these are resources. But these aren't as easy to handle for any type of player, whether they're kids or adults, so they can get lost more easily. These ones, the downside to them is that they don't fit very well anywhere. I mean, even when I just had them in random bags and stuff, it was just a big pain trying to, pick them out. And with this, you can see they don't fit very well in here, so you can't get that many in there, especially with the E's and B's here. The other bad thing about them that I realized is with the big ones, maybe it's just this brand that I got, but I mean, it's really high quality, but the problem is that their M's and W's, they made them the same. So basically I had a bunch of what ended up being W's and no M's for the products. Now, that was not the case with the little ones. So they properly did the M's. Again, I don't know if it was a different brand. It must have been. They properly did the little M's, so I have both M's and W's for resources. But not that. So maybe you can find a brand that will do it properly. I'm not sure. But anyway, I am going to keep these in circulation just because they are cool, and I think it will create some type of scarcity that certain participants may want to have those just because of how they look. So I will keep them in circulation, and if they ever run out, I probably will still buy them, but it's last on my list. So then I also experimented with just these small cards. And I knew that these weren't going to be as good as normal size cards, but I just wanted to put them in circulation and see how they are. Now they do work. They get the job done. Now don't contact me if you want these, because I'm not going to be giving these out. But if you want to make them yourself, I mean, there's sites that you can do it on. It's fine. So it's just like this. And I did put the microsip over here, but really I should have done double-sided, just have them both sides. And I should also say product or resource, because with some letters, if you flip them upside down, not with this, but with some of them, they might look like different letters, or sometimes you can't even tell them, especially with the lowercase ones. So you should spell out resources or products on there. And another thing you can do is put how many there are. So I only made singles, So that's one thing I'm going to do when I get around to making the big cards, which should be pretty soon, or not big, but normal size that will fit in these baseball card holders perfectly. I'll create like 1s, 5s, and 10s. So when someone creates a lot of resources or products, I can just hand them that card instead of having a whole bunch. And is there anything I want to say about that? The other thing that I've just started doing that's working out really well is I just make these cardboard cutouts, and as I need them, let's see if I can pull one out here. These blank ones that I'm talking about down here, as I need them, I just write the letter and then how many are back here. If it's just a single, then I just put the letter on both sides. Again, if it's a resource, again, like the lowercase letters, if you flip them in certain ways, they'll look like other letters, so you might want to put like an underline on there if you're going to do it like this. Now, of course, this has a downside. It doesn't look as good. It does fit in here better than these wooden ones, so that's one good thing, but it still does take up a lot of room. Obviously, it doesn't look as good, like I said, but it is extremely practical, and it's cheap because everyone has cardboard boxes laying around that they can cut up, even though it's a little bit of work. But eventually, the majority of what I'm going to be using is regular size cards. I'm just going to get those custom made as soon as I use up some of these. Right now I have a whole bunch, especially since I started using these. So I will make an update video when I get those. But if you want them sooner than that, that's fine. Just contact me and I'll make them faster. So that will be in the works regardless. Okay, and then the other thing is I'll show the force cards now. Oh yeah, another thing with these small letters is in an organization system like this, it's really hard to pick them out sometimes because they get buried at the bottom. But like I say, if you just have normal size cards, it's going to be so easy just to go through these and pick out what you need. So I did the same thing with these force cards here, with the cardboard ones. Just put force, and then if it's a single, I just put it on both sides. And if it's a number, then I put force and then the number. Now, another problem with these cards, I think I forgot to mention, is that pretty much anyone can make these, so you can get some counterfeits. I haven't had that problem with the type of people I play with yet, but it'll eventually happen that some type of person will want to cheat and make these and try to mimic your handwriting. And if you're not that observant, like I'm really not observant with that, someone could easily forge these. So another idea is to get one of those custom stampers that just make it say Microsieve or something and stamp it on there. So I'm going to do that as well. So if you want one of those, I can hook you up with that. Just contact me if you want to go the cardboard route. Now, I think I'm going to permanently stick with the cardboard route. I'm always going to have those as a backup, even when I do the regular size cards. And again, these cards aren't bad either if you want to save money. But adults, when they handle these, it might be a little rough for them. Like kids, yeah, they have no problem with it. But I think that the regular size cards will just be better. Plus, they're going to have more room on there to, put numbers and stuff like that. If you want to have one card worth 5 or 10 or whatever resources or products. So, yeah, I just picked this thing up. It's working out pretty well. And like I say, I did have to get some extra dividers here. The downside with this kind of organization is that when you shut this thing, you can't carry it on its side if you have all these types of variety of resources and products. But if you're just using regular cards, it'll be fine. Because if I did it like this, stuff would be spilling into the other compartments and stuff. But if you're just using like these or regular size cards, you'll be fine with that. Then you can carry it however you want. Another thing you could do is buy 2 of these if you want to sort out. Have one for each letter, that's fine, but this works fine unless you're dealing with a lot of players. One of these is going to be fine. Like even if you're dealing with 20, 25 players, participants or whatever, you're going to be fine with this, I think. But if you're, if you have like if you manage to get some kind of huge game going, yeah, maybe you want 2 of these. But you also have to keep in mind you're probably going to be traveling around a lot, so do you really want to be hauling 2 of these things, because you're already hauling all the other stuff. So that's something just to keep in consideration when you're making these decisions. But so far, I'm really, even though I'm using these awkward resources and products for the time being, right now this has been a great decision. It's been extremely practical using this. And I can just shut this to show you how it is. And carry it like that. But again, I can't really do that right now until I switch to mostly cardboard pieces and regular size cards.